The 2007 to 2008 Premier League season began with a surprise package leading the way. Manchester City, now managed by former England boss Sven-Göran Eriksson after Stuart Pearce's sacking, got off to a flying start with a 2-0 win at West Ham. City picked up another 3 points with a 1-0 home win over Derby County before Giovanni scored the only goal of the game in the Manchester derby to become an instant cult hero. With youngsters Micah Richards and Michael Johnson in top form, Sven's City suddenly looked like the real deal. One of the most shocking moments of the 2007 to 2008 campaign occurred in September. Jose Mourinho, Chelsea's iconic two-time title-winning boss, left the club by mutual consent after a fallout with owner Roman Abramovich. The reason the decision has been taken is that we believe the breakdown started to impact on the performance of the team, a Chelsea statement read. The Blues replaced Mourinho with Director of Football Avram Grant, whose tenure began with a disappointing 2-0 defeat against title rivals Manchester United at Old Trafford. Portsmouth and Reading played out the highest-scoring game of the season at Fratton Park. Benjani scored twice for the hosts before Stephen Hunt and Dave Kitson netted for the visitors. Further goals from Herman Hreiderson, Benjani and Nico Kranjkar put Portsmouth 5-2 up with 15 minutes to go, but the scoring was not over yet. Reading's Shane Long pulled one back before an Ivar Ingimarsson own goal, and Sully Muntari penalty gave Portsmouth a 4-goal advantage. To round off a crazy afternoon, Sol Campbell turned the ball into his own net in stoppage time, making the final score 7-4. At the start of October, unbeaten Arsenal looked like genuine title contenders, despite selling star man Thierry Henry to Barcelona. Manchester United, bolstered by the signing of Carlos Tevez, struggled for goals but still found themselves in second place. Fourth-place Liverpool looked strong going forward following the arrival of Fernando Torres, while 10th-place Newcastle had a mixed start under new boss Sam Allardyce. Elsewhere, Paul Jewell's former assistant Chris Hutchings became Wigan's new manager, and Steve Bruce's Birmingham and Roy Keane's Sunderland looked better equipped than Billy Davies' Derby after promotion from the Championship. Several managerial changes took place during the season, including 6 between October and December. Bolton replaced struggling Sammy Lee with Gary Megson. Tottenham brought in Juan de Ramos after Martin Yole's tricky start to the campaign, and Wigan sacked Chris Hutchings following a run of 8 points from 12 games. The Latics paid £3 million to take Steve Bruce from Birmingham, who brought in Alex McLeish as Bruce's replacement. Paul Jewell was tasked with saving bottom-of-the-table Derby after Billy Davies' exit, while Fulham sacked Laurie Sanchez and appointed Roy Hodgson. Back on the pitch, Chelsea beat Manchester City 6-0 as Avram Grant's side picked up an impressive 25 points from a possible 27. Everton also found form, with Tim Cahill and Yakubu scoring twice each in a 7-1 victory over inconsistent Sunderland. Arsenal had fans dreaming of another invincible season after going 15 games unbeaten at the start of the campaign. However, the table-topping run ended when Gareth Southgate led Middlesbrough to a 2-1 win over the Gunners at the Riverside. On the international front, English football was rocked by the country's failure to qualify for Euro 2008. The Three Lions lost 3-2 in a crucial qualifier against Croatia on a rainy night at Wembley. The result proved costly for manager Steve McLaren, who lost his job after the game. Players were targeted in the weeks that followed, with Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard among those who received boos from opposition fans due to their disappointing England performances. Aston Villa goalkeeper Scott Carson also came under scrutiny after making a calamitous error for Croatia's first goal. Ahead of a busy festive schedule, Arsenal earned vital wins over London rivals Chelsea and Tottenham to maintain top spot at Christmas. Manchester United were 1 point and 1 place behind the Gunners, with Carlos Tevez, Cristiano Ronaldo and Wayne Rooney all in scintillating form towards the end of the year. At the other end of the table, Tottenham found winning ways again, following Juan de Ramos's arrival. The same could not be said for Derby, who looked on course to become one of the worst teams in Premier League history. Newcastle lost 3 consecutive games after Christmas, further damaging manager Sam Allardyce's strained relationship with the club's fans. Allardyce left by mutual consent after a 2-0 home loss against Manchester City in January. Kevin Keegan, a heroic figure on Tyneside, returned as manager 11 years after his dramatic 1997 resignation. Keegan failed to win any of his first 7 league games back in charge, a dismal run that included a 5-1 home defeat against a Cristiano Ronaldo and Wayne Rooney-inspired Manchester United. Arsenal maintained their title challenge with a 3-0 win over Newcastle and an impressive 3-1 victory at Manchester City. However, their season took a turn for the worse after a controversial 2-2 draw at 10-man Birmingham. Eduardo, the club's exciting summer signing from Dinamo Zagreb, suffered a horrifying leg break after a mistimed challenge from Martin Taylor. Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger initially said Taylor should never play football again, before later retracting the statement. To add to the drama, an emotional William Gallas sat down on the pitch at full time before being led away by Wenger. In the relegation battle, Derby's return to the Championship was confirmed after a 2-2 draw with Fulham. The Rams signed 8 players after Paul Jewell's arrival, including Premier League veterans Alan Stubbs and Robbie Savage, but results only got worse. "It has been inevitable for a while, to be honest," Jewell told BBC Sport. "We know relegation is out of the way now officially, and we can try and take some crumbs of comfort out of the rest of the season." With 6 games to go, Derby needed 5 more points to avoid becoming the worst Premier League team ever. At the end of March, Manchester United were in pole position to win the Premier League title. Chelsea moved into second place after Didier Drogba scored twice in a 2-1 comeback victory over Arsenal at Stamford Bridge. By that point, the Gunners' form had already taken a dip after 4 consecutive league draws. In the bottom half, Sunderland and Wigan moved away from relegation trouble, while Bolton and Fulham desperately needed points to avoid losing their Premier League status alongside Derby. After losing to Chelsea in March, another 2-1 loss at fellow title contenders Manchester United in April ended Arsenal's realistic hopes of winning the Premier League for the first time in 4 years. 2 weeks later, Michael Ballack scored twice as Chelsea beat Manchester United 2-1 to move level on points, with the Red Devils at the top of the table. In the fight for survival, Bolton and Fulham hit form at the right time, while Birmingham and Reading endured 5-game and 6-game winless runs heading into the final day. With 3 matches remaining, Fulham were 45 minutes away from relegation after goals from Stephen Ireland and Benjani put Manchester City 2-0 up at half-time. In the second half, Diamansi Kamara and Danny Murphy scored to keep the Cottagers' safety hopes alive. Kamara then netted again in added time to earn a remarkable 3-2 win. Roy Hodgson's men beat Birmingham 2-0 a week later before a Danny Murphy header clinched safety with a 1-0 final day win at Portsmouth. Birmingham and Reading also won their games on the last day, but it was too little too late. Both clubs went down after their dismal runs coincided with Bolton and Fulham's upturn in fortunes. At the top, Manchester United and Chelsea entered the final day on 84 points. United were heavy favourites thanks to their plus 56 goal difference compared to Chelsea's plus 39. Cristiano Ronaldo scored a first-half penalty as the Red Devils took the lead at Wigan. Chelsea responded in the second half when Andriy Shevchenko put the Blues ahead against Bolton. As Chelsea relied on Wigan to score, It was Ryan Giggs who grabbed the next goal to wrap up a 2-0 United win. Matt Taylor equalised late on for Bolton, meaning Chelsea only drew 1-1, and the title stayed at Old Trafford for another season. The final day also featured a staggering result at the Riverside, where Gareth Southgate's Middlesbrough beat Manchester City 8-1 in what turned out to be Sven-Göran Eriksson's last game in charge of City. The 2007 to 2008 table confirmed Reading and Birmingham's relegations, while Derby's measly tally of 11 points broke Sunderland's 15-point Premier League record. Juan de Ramos led Tottenham to 11th place and a 2-1 League Cup final win over Chelsea, while Harry Redknapp guided 8th-placed Portsmouth to a 1-0 FA Cup final victory against Cardiff. In the end, Manchester United sealed the title by 2 points. Sir Alex Ferguson's side also beat second-placed Chelsea on penalties in a breathtaking Champions League final in Moscow. If you enjoyed this video, click the link on screen for the full story of the Premier League in the 1990s.